What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman. Now, it was only 2 or 3 days ago that Disney Plus uploaded a ton of brand new animated X-Men icons to their profile, and at the time when we ran the report that I'll make sure to link at the end of this, there was one sort of collective agreement in the industry on the heels of a report from Jeremy Conrad over at MCU Cosmic that an announcement was coming for a brand new X-Men series over at Disney Plus, and this must mean none other than the return of the 90s cartoon. But in the last couple of days, and from separate industry insiders, we now have reports that it's not the cartoon that's headed to Disney Plus, but rather solo outings for live action X-Men as we lead to the recreation of the team in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're going to break down the 2 separate sources that leaked this, what they're saying about live action X-Men on Disney Plus, and the real likelihood that we're going to see some of these announcements and post-productions in the coming years. We're going to break it all down, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button, we're giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, as well as a whole slew of other Marvel related stuff, including a limited edition Infinity Saga box set. If you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video, and if you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Now, first things first, and as we made sure to mention in our original expose just days ago on this, there was a good reason a lot of people thought it was the return of the animated series, and that's because last year there was a story that the original team that had worked on the 90s cartoon reapproached Disney and Marvel Studios to relaunch the cartoon, and Kevin Feige, in fact, himself was an outspoken fan of the show, obviously leading to seeing some brand new animated art. And by the way, these have been confirmed to be new art. They don't exist anywhere else, making the assumption pretty easy if there was an official announcement coming per MCU's Jeremy Conrad that it must have something to do with a brand new animated series. But as it turns out, it may have something to do with more than that, and a live action solo series for some particular X-Men. This coming from Beyond the Trailers' Grace Randolph, who said, why did they release those avatars? Well, they may be looking at an animated series, but solo live action series as well, making for back-to-back days and from separate sources, semi-corroborating reports. And then just a day later, and guys, this is where this report gets really interesting, from industry insider Mikey Sutton and friend of the channel, revealing that Gambit was in pre-talks for pre-production over at Disney Plus for a solo series, given they had to cancel the original franchise over at Fox when the rights swapped companies that once had Channing Tatum attached. Now, to be perfectly clear, Mikey Sutton was specific in that report to say that Tatum was no longer involved with the project, and you could be certain they won't be using any of the script remnants or anything coming from Fox, but rather they were thinking about launching the character with a slight Western bent. Now, regardless of any of the details for these series that are either out or to come out over the next months, as you can be sure, they're not even in pre-production yet. These would just be the earliest talks over at the studios. Very rarely in the Marvel leak community, and as long as I've had this channel for the last 2 years, do 3 separate industry insider sources with different sources themselves come out and sort of corroborate a report, especially in this instance where one says there's an imminent announcement coming, another says it could be animated or even live action, and then a third confirms that there's already been talks of a live action series, and all within 48 hours of each other. It really makes it seem like there's some validity to this, especially a lot more than some of the anonymous 4chan leaks that we cover here, and all of these industry insiders willing to attach their name and reputation, given the track record we know from just Mikey Sutton alone, where we would normally tell you to take these leaks with a grain of salt and use some skepticism. It's looking more and more likely the case that there's actually some validity to this. And when you take a step back and look at Marvel Studios and the industry as a whole, especially for a team like the X-Men, this makes a lot of sense for a ton of reasons. The first of which being how the X-Men were treated over at Fox, them basically running the same story out twice with the Dark Phoenix saga, and how well it's already known that the X-Men were formed. This is the same way that they treated Peter Parker when first he entered the MCU, another perfect example of a very popular superhero that already had 2 attempts at his character. If they move them to Disney Plus and focus on the characters individually, that will be a different telling of how the X-Men are formed, and when finally they come together on the big screen, you won't have to use any of the cinematic time for the silver screen to explain these characters, their back arcs, or where they've come from. Rather, the formation of the team will have happened naturally and organically through all of their solo stories, and if they weren't going to take the time to do that in the cinematic universe style that they built the Avengers, having an Iron Man and a Thor and a Captain America, then another awesome way of doing this would be on the Disney Plus TV series instead of the silver screen, something they wouldn't want to skip anyway. And again, just using the roadmap that Marvel Studios has given us with how they've treated properties like Spider-Man that have already been done, wanting to avoid all of the same villains and the same tropes, doing something completely different. Shoot, we haven't even heard about Uncle Ben yet in the MCU. Then you follow their roadmap for how they built the team in the Avengers, introducing all of their solo movies. Of course, they're going to follow that roadmap of success when it comes to the X-Men. Releasing their solo projects on Disney Plus would also double down on the streaming service as well. Look, it's fine and well to go ahead and release TV shows around Falcon and Winter Soldier, Wanda Maximoff, Loki. I'm not going to say these are secondary or even tertiary characters because everybody is super hype, but Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, even a character like Moon Knight that is a fan favorite, they do not carry the same cachet as if you put out a Wolverine TV show or a Cyclops TV show, even a Beast or Nightcrawler TV show. Secondary X-Men characters, they just demand a lot higher attention and purchase power in the genre. It would be something that Disney would definitely be doing as a double down on their streaming service, and to bring a big name character like Wolverine to TV before he makes it to the silver screen in X-Men. I can't imagine how hyped that series would be. Also, it would be amazing to see some of these characters whose backstories maybe deserve a little bit more of a long-form storytelling get 6 episodes in a series before we have to cram all of the characters together into 1 or 2 or even 3 movies. We get to see how the team works together there instead of having to focus on the characters themselves. I think it also leads better to a multi-protagonist team, something we saw in the Avengers with Iron Man and Captain America, and something that probably wouldn't have happened with as much success if we hadn't had their own franchises leading up to this. Which is going to lead me to my final thought, and even though I'm going to choose my words carefully here, I'm definitely going to say what I mean. Now, I don't mean to imply that Marvel Studios or Disney are trying to get information out to the public without making official announcements. I'm not going to say that they've ever done that, but if they are, they wouldn't be the first studio to do so, or it happens all the time between big companies, between ball players. They sort of want to negotiate in public and use the court of public opinion either in their favor or for more negotiating power. Again, I'm not saying they're doing that, but if you look at the big picture here and the losses that are happening in theaters right now, how bad Disney is hurting, especially from Q2, and that's nothing new, we're all hurting from this. It could be the case that they're taking a step back, looking at thoughts and plans that they had already had surrounding Disney Plus, and perhaps seeing that as a better place to invest their resources, considering streaming is looking a lot more favorable in today's current climate and condition, especially with the outlook for the future as is. If there was already talk and thoughts of releasing some of the solo live action X-Men, at least some of them, on Disney Plus, whether they be a main character like Wolverine or Cyclops, even a Professor X show, maybe even a Magneto show, then maybe those talks and ideas are starting to find more of a central stage over at Disney, where maybe they would have been written off before, again, given the current climate and all of the cancellations and delays with theatrical releases for movies like Black Widow. If you know you're going to pour a ton of time into pre-production and look at a series starting now, just as far as script and writing, maybe it's a better way to hedge your bet to look at long-form TV series for some of these characters, knowing that even though they may not be returning to on-set productions anytime soon, when they finally do, if there is another delay like this of any kind, they can still release it to streaming as planned instead of having to count on whether theaters are open and there's a box office to be had. Guys, let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below, of course, about this idea that I just floated out there, meaning that at least for now, Disney Plus releases are looking a lot more safer than theatrical releases. But in the big picture here about Disney X-Men being released as solo action series on TV instead of the silver screen, maybe it's not Wolverine, maybe he calls for a movie, of course his own trilogy, but maybe characters like Storm or even specifically Rogue, who wouldn't normally get their backstory told in full, would really benefit from a 6-episode miniseries on Disney Plus. Guys, let me know all your thoughts down below about this and the X-Men entrance into the MCU. And quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. We're still giving away 2 PlayStation 4 Pros, the next of which is at the 650,000 subscriber mark. We're headlong into that. We'll easily hit that by month's end. All you have to do to be entered to win, hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell with notifications turned on, leave a like and a comment on this video, and that'll automatically enter you to win all the rest of the prizes here at the channel, like the limited edition Infinity Saga box set. We'll be giving this second one away on the 2nd anniversary of the channel in the end of this month. If you want to be entered to win either of the prizes or any of the future ones we give away here at the channel, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video, and because it's truly random, the more videos you like and comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners are announced at the end of videos, and you can find them by simply scrolling back through the channel, looking for the winner announcement and the sub count in the title, clicking on that video, and scrolling to the end. My name's Michael Roman. This is Everything Always. Guys, thanks so much for checking out the channel, and stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.